All right, this was your little quiz on lessons, 11.3 and 11.4. Anyway. All right, so listen, I'm going to show you something else, okay? I'm going to show you another way of thinking about adding and subtracting integers, okay? Another method. I want you to really understand, so I need you to really pay attention here, okay? I need your attention. Another way of doing adding and subtracting integers is to think like this. Any positive number is a positive coin. I'll explain in a second. Has a certain number of positive coins. Any negative number has a certain number of negative coins. What I mean by that is this. If I have, let's just say that I have 4 take away 6. Okay, I need you to really listen. 4 take away 6. 4 take away 6. Each number has its own symbol in front of it. Each number has its own symbol in front of it. This 6 has the negative symbol in front of it. Do you see what I'm talking about? There's nothing here in front of the 4, so what does it mean is in front of the 4? Is it a minus symbol in front of that 4? No. What's the invisible symbol that's in front of the 4? There's a plus symbol there, okay? It's that simple. Now, before I even get to that, does everybody know what 4 minus 6 is? Hold on. Michael, what's 4 minus 6? Negative 2. You've got that much. Good. Negative 2. We know the answer is going to be negative 2. Do we agree with that? For sure that's going to be negative 2. Let me show you a different way of getting that. Remember, each number has its own symbol. I'm going to put a little secret plus sign there of the 4. What that means is this. Imagine that there are 4 positive chips out here on the table. Let's pretend that there's 4 positive chips. There's a chip here, and there's 4 positive ones. Does that make sense? There's 4 chips that have, like a poker chip, you know what I'm talking about? 4 chips that have a plus symbol on it, and they're sitting there. Right? They're right here. I also have 6 negative poker chips. Okay? I've got 4 positive poker chips and 6 negative poker chips out here on the table. Does that make sense to you? Are you following me where I'm coming up with that? And then, okay, there's 4 positives and 6 negatives. What you're looking to do is you're looking to eliminate pairs of poker chips. 1 positive and 1 negative poker chip, they eliminate each other. That makes 0, right? A plus 1 and a minus 1 makes 0. Do you agree? Right? So I can get rid of this guy and this guy. And I can get rid of this guy and this guy. And I can get rid of this guy and this guy. And this guy and this guy. I'm eliminating pairs. Right? Another way of doing that would be to look at this and go, okay, there's 4 positive poker chips. And I'm going to eliminate 4 of these. And I'm going to eliminate 4 of these. You see what I'm talking about? I'm eliminating an equal number of positives and negatives. And now I look at the table, and what do I have left on the table? Once I've eliminated that, what do I have left on the table? 2 negative poker chips. Remember what we decided was the answer originally? Negative 2. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's look at it again. Let's try another one using the poker chip idea. Negative 13 minus 7. Negative 13 minus 7. Okay, hold on. Remember, each number has its own symbol. What symbol is in front of that 7? I can't hear. Only one person knows this answer. What symbol is in front of that 7? A minus sign. What symbol is in front of that 13? Okay. So I come out here and I have 13 negative poker chips, right? I've got 13 of these. Do I really need to write them all? I've got 13. Imagine this. I have 13 negative poker chips here on the table. And then I also put out, what? 7 more, what? Negative poker chips. So I had 13 negative poker chips out there, and then I put out 7 more negative poker chips. What do I have on the table, Michael? Listen, I have 13 negative poker chips. Agreed? Can you envision that? Do I need to draw them, or can you envision that? I have 13 negative poker chips. And then, what do I do here? What happens here? I have 7 more negative poker chips. So I have 13 negative poker chips, and then I put 7 negative poker chips out there. I'm going to eliminate all the pairs that I can. What can I eliminate? Nothing. There's no positives out there. So then what's left on the table? What am I staring at on the table? What am I staring at on the poker table? I'm staring at 20 negative poker chips, which means the answer is negative 20. Do we also agree that negative 13 minus 7, remember, where we go over here, negative 13, which way is minus? 13 plus 7 is 20. Does that make sense? It's just another way of doing it. Thinking of the poker chips on the table helps out a lot sometimes. Try this one. This time you're going to do it. This time you're going to do it. Nope. But you should be able to do this one in your head. You know what I'm saying? Let's do one that's easy, that you all know the answer to, without even, this is like what, first grade stuff? You know what I'm saying? But let's do it using the poker chips. Do you agree that the original question is 14 minus 7? Right? What do I put out there first? What do I put on the poker? What do I put on the table? 14 positive poker chips. Right? 14 positive poker chips. And then what else do I put out on the table? 7 negative poker chips. Right? I've got 14 positives and 7 negatives. When I pair them up and I eliminate the pairs, what's going to be left on the table? 7 positive poker chips. Guess what the answer is? What's 14 minus 7? 7. Does that make sense? The poker chip idea is a good one. Now you guys try one, for real. Now this time, for real, I'm going to let you do it.
Joanne, using the poker chips.
Use the poker chip idea. Do it. You can do it. Okay, I threw a little bit of a wrench here at you, a little bit, but it shouldn't bother you. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. When you first look at this, you should see something that throws up a red flag, and you go, oh man, I got to deal with this. What do you see? 2 negatives touching. When you see the 2 negatives touching, what does that become?
Plus.
Okay. So if you didn't do that, then you kind of messed up. Does that make sense? Then you're in a little bit of trouble. Right? But you know what? What is negative 8 plus 5? Which negative 8 plus 5 means you're coming back this way. It ends up being negative 3, right? Let's do this. Let's look at this using the poker chip idea, okay? What do I have out there on the table to start? Tell me exactly what I have on the table. Don't say negative 8. What do I have on the table? I have 8 negative poker chips. Agreed? I have 8 of these negative poker chips. Let me draw them for you. Do you agree that I have 8 negative poker chips on the table? Are you seeing it now? Are you looking up there seeing it? 8 negative poker chips. What happens if I need your attention, please. What does that symbol mean? Minus, right? Or take away, right? If I have 8 negative poker chips out there and I take away, what am I taking away? 5 negative poker chips. Do you see what I'm talking about? I'm taking away 5 negative poker chips. If I take away 5 negative poker chips, what do I have left? 3 negative poker chips, which is negative 3. Does that make sense? The other way of doing it is to go negative 8 minus and negative 5 and go, okay, those 2 negatives touching mean add. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. I show you all this so that you have 2 different ways of solving these things. One, you can use the number line to do it. The other way is to think of it as poker chips. Positive poker chips and negative poker chips. What do you eliminate from the table whenever you have everything laid out on the table? What do you eliminate? Pairs. You eliminate pairs. You eliminate 1 positive and 1 negative. And you keep doing that until all you have is sum of one thing. Right? I want you to write this question for me and then give me the answer. I want you to write the question and then give me the answer, just based on what I've done here. had it right the first time. What do I have here? 7, right? A positive 7 or just 7. What do I have here? There's the question. 7 minus 9. What's it end up being? Why negative 2? How did you get that? Can't you just start eliminating this? Can't you eliminate 7 positives and eliminate 7 negatives? By eliminating them, what do I have left? 2 negative poker chips, which is negative 2. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. I'm going to write another one, and this time you write me the question again. Okay, I'm going to write another one. You write me the question. Michael, what do you have as the question? Right, negative 7 minus 4. And you go, oh, is it minus 4 or negative 4? And the answer is, what's the difference? Right? What's the difference? You could say negative 7, negative 4, or negative 7 minus 4. It doesn't matter, right? Negative 7 minus 4 is negative 11. Makes sense? Because when you go out, when you look at the table, all you have is 11 negative poker chips. There's no positives to take away. There's nothing to eliminate. So then all you look at the table and go, oh, it's negative 11. Okay. Let's do it. I'm going to do a big one here for you. And this, hopefully you'll understand now. Use poker chips. Think poker chips. Just think about it. What do you have on the table? What do you start with on the table? 475 negative poker chips. That'd be a lot of poker chips, right? But you can think, I have 475 of these negative poker chips. And then what do? After that, I throw on 300 positive poker chips. So I've got 475 negative ones and 300 positive ones. What do I have to do at this point? Eliminate what? All the pairs. Now think, how many pairs am I going to have? How many pairs am I going to have? Why 300? There's 300 positives and 475 negatives. There can't be any more than 300, right? Because there's only 300 positives. So I'm going to eliminate 300 pairs. Agreed? When I eliminate 300 pairs, I don't have any more positive poker chips, right? And how many of the negative poker chips went away? 300 went away, right? So then I'm actually going to go, well, see, there was 475 negative poker chips, but I just took away 300 of them. And that's when you go, oh, 475, take away 300. Do you see what I'm talking about? There's 475 negative poker chips, and I take away 300 negative poker chips. That leaves me with 175 what? Negative poker chips. Make sense? Does it make sense? I prefer this method over the number line once you can wrap your brain around this. When you're adding and subtracting integers, this method is better, I think. But either one works. The number line, left, right, positive, negative, left, right, or the poker chips. It doesn't matter. Any questions about it? People, calm down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. I'm going to give you your homework now. Okay. This is what you have. You have page, it's double, 526 to 527, 5 through 24 even, plus 33 to 38 even. Listen, how long should this take you? For real, like a few minutes, right? And then also page 532 to 533, 6 to 22 even, plus 31 to 36 even. Again, it should not take you very long if you'll just think poker chips. And most of these questions are like dealing with like 6 and 4 and 1 and 5 and 7. There's very few that are big numbers, so this should not take you very long.